Hi Sagittarius, this is Teresa from Tarot by T. And before I get started on your reading, I want to talk about what's coming up with the astrology this month. So we have Mercury moving into Taurus on the 4th. We have a full moon in Libra on the 6th. Venus moves into Gemini on the 12th. And then we have a solar eclipse in Aries on the 20th, which is favorable to your sign. Then we have Mercury the next day, on the 21st, going retrograde in Taurus until May 14th. So we'll get to that later. Let's see what the cards say about love and relationships for Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know about love and relationships for the month of April 2023? What is coming up? What is coming up for Sag, April 2023? What is coming up for Sag in April 2023? What the Sag needs to know. The Ten of Wands, the Page of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, the Sun, the Three of Cups, the World, the Queen of Swords, the King of Cups, and the card at the bottom of the deck is the King of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, so you're starting out the month with this Ten of Swords energy, and that's a card of carrying a heavy burden. So you might have been working really hard, or maybe even just feeling burdened by a relationship. Maybe there's been problems or issues that you've had to work out. However, I feel like things are going to end in a more positive note. When you get to the Ten of Wands, it means, okay, I can put down my burden now. You've reached the end of the line. So you're coming to the end of a period of hard work and feeling overburdened, overwhelmed. So things are going to get lighter this month. You have the Page of Wands, which is a message. So some good news is coming in. Maybe even more than one message, but especially the Page of Wands usually means good news. Or when you hear the message, it's you have a happy reaction to it. It's something that, even if it's unexpected, it's something that brings joy. In the past, you have the Four of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles comes up when you might have been. Sometimes it comes up when you're holding on too tightly to a relationship. Maybe it's because you're feeling this person. There could be some financial issues around the relationship. If you're having problems with a relationship, it could be related to finances and possible situations where you're being too controlling or you're holding on, like you're wanting things to work out in a specific way and you're not letting things flow. So the Four of Pentacles, you might be holding on to someone because they represent financial security to you. Or you're just afraid to let go. You're afraid, like, maybe I won't find something else that's better or something like that. So that's the past. And the recent past is the Five of Pentacles, which it could be a card where you feel left out. Maybe in a relationship, you're feeling lonely, you're feeling depressed, maybe left out in a situation. So if you've broken up with someone or you're having some problems, you may feel, you're struggling with all these feelings, like feeling like my financial situation is unstable. I'm feeling like I'm on the outside looking in. I'm not part of this relationship. Sometimes you could feel lonely even with someone, but especially if you've had a falling out and you're kind of working it through, like you've had a separation, you could feel like I'm cut off from that person. And for some of you, though, It could also mean that someone is going through a difficult time financially. If it's not you, it could be another person. And they may have come to you for help, or you might be helping someone through a difficult time to overcome a depression or financial situation. But these cards are in the past. So what's coming up is the Knight of Cups. This is something that's just starting to form. And in the very near future, you have the Sun, which is awesome. Because the Knight of Cups represents a romantic proposal. So someone is going to come to you with some kind of offer of love this month. Some kind of proposal. So especially if you've been having a hard time in the past, I feel like you're coming to the end of that time. And now the Sun also represents two people having fun together. The Sun represents overcoming any problems in the reading and the outcome. I mean, you have two really great cards, the Sun and the World, in this reading. So the Sun is like everything's going to be okay. The sun's coming out. Like it's kind of like when it's been raining all day and all of a sudden the clouds break and the sun comes out. That's the feeling that the Sun brings. And if you look at this card, these two people, they're really having fun together. So you're going to be connecting with someone this month that you really enjoy. You enjoy their company. So if it's been all work and no play, I feel like the heavy workload is ending and you're going to have some time for fun and for joy and to play. Sometimes I even feel that although things may start in April, I feel that over the summer things are going to get even better. That you might even find that things really improve as we get closer to summer. The Sun can sometimes even represent a marriage. If you're in a relationship where you're thinking about commitment, the Sun could... I really feel like you're going to be connecting with someone that really gets you, and you get them, and you just enjoy being together, and you're just like two kids having a great time together. This is coming. So someone may confess, with the Knight of Cups, someone may tell you how they feel and may want to make more of a commitment. You have the Three of Cups here in your negative thinking sector. Now, the Three of Cups, the best case scenario of the Three of Cups is parties, celebration, getting together. It could be a birth in the family. It could be an engagement. There's some happy news. There's a happy social thing happening. But it's in your negative thinking sector. So you may not be thinking, oh, that's never going to happen to me. If you're thinking negatively, you need to stop and start putting in some positive energy, imagining, good things coming. Because if you focus on the past and your worries and your fears and things that are not working out, you're only going to keep attracting that energy. Sometimes the Three of Cups can represent a third-party situation where someone has to choose between two people. But I feel it could be you choosing between two people. Either you, and maybe you're not sure. If it's not you, it could be your partner. Excuse me. I've been struggling with allergies this month because everything is blooming where I live. But I don't, even though the Three of Cups can sometimes mean a third-party situation, I don't feel that it's negative in this situation. I think however things work out, it's going to be in your favor. Because you have the World in your environment. Now the World, and this is also a time card for 3 weeks. So within 3 weeks, I think probably by the end of April, you're going to have a more clearer direction about which way to go. Because the World represents something coming to completion, the ending of a cycle, but it's not a bad ending. Like the Tower or the Death card can sometimes be an ending we don't want to see happen. The World is more like everything's coming together. I'm finishing this one cycle successfully, and now I'm getting ready to move to the next level. So it's possible that if you're in a relationship, some of you may decide to move it up a notch. If you're just dating, you might get more serious, or you might think about marriage. But I think the World is not just about relationship. I think the energy of the World is also talking about career too. It seems like everything's falling into place. You're finishing a project, it's successful. You're connecting with someone on a romantic level, and you're having fun. And there's potential for commitment. I feel like you're existing in a state of grace where even if something ends, there'll be something new beginning that will be better for you. So don't hold on to something that's not working, something that's not bringing you joy, because joy is in your future. Happiness is in your future. Even commitment. So for some of you, if you're struggling in a difficult relationship and it seems like it's falling apart, maybe you need to just let go and let the universe send you the right person. Or let things work out. Like, don't try to control how things are going to work out. Just let things happen. And they will work out in your best interest. Because I feel like the world and the sun are the two really good cards to have in a reading. In your wish fulfillment sector, you have the Queen of Swords. And I feel like this is your energy. This could be your energy, that you've been building up this wall around you, that you're like not letting anyone in. You're like hard to reach. It's like maybe you've been hurt in the past and you've been disappointed in a relationship in the past, and you're afraid to be vulnerable and you're afraid to open up to love. But the Queen is looking to the future. Don't, put the past behind you. Her back is to the Five of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands. But her back is also to the sun. So you don't overlook your happiness, the potential for joy. I think this month it would be good if you could drop your guard a little bit. And if someone wants to come into your life and you're attracted, but you might be afraid, let that person in. And then you have this king. You have the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles. The King of Cups could be a water sign. That would be Pisces, Cancer, what's the other one? Scorpio. Or the King of Pentacles could even be an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or someone with those like heavy earth in their chart. May not necessarily be the sun sign. But the Cancer, the person who's the King of Cups is someone who's very compassionate, very gentle, very kind, loving. They may not always know how to express their feelings because they're afraid of rejection, but I feel like this person cares very much about you. This could be the person that offers you this romantic proposal. I feel like there could be two possibilities for love this month if you're not in a committed partnership, and if you're dating, if you're in a dating situation. The King of Pentacles, these are two great kings. I like these kings. And especially that they're kings, because sometimes the knights can be a little bit immature energy. So you could have had someone around you with the knight energy, someone who's not immature about love, unrealistic about what love means. But you have two kings coming in. And the kings, and that could be male or female. The court cards can be any sex. But the energy of the king is more mature. And the King of Pentacles is someone who's financially stable, cares very much about family and home, and is willing to provide for their family. That's how they show their love. Like, hey, I'm giving you this house. I'm working hard so we can have a house to live in, a nice house. And then we can have food on the table and money in the bank. We can feel safe together. This is how the king shows his love. He will do anything for family, for home and family. The King of Cups is a little different. He's more like a counselor or a healer. Sometimes the King of Cups works in the healthcare professions because he likes helping people. He has a lot of compassion. So it could be someone who's working in healthcare or working in counseling. And it's someone that you can really talk to. You can tell them anything, and they just seem to understand what you're going through. They're just very, very calm in a crisis. If you're all like upset about something, they have a way of calming you down. They have a way of healing you. So this Three of Cups could be you trying to choose between two options and having to make a decision. But I feel like love is coming in, and if you've been through a difficult time, I think those times are ending, and there's going to be more positive energy coming your way. Especially finances. I feel like you've had issues in a relationship over finances. I feel like you were maybe holding on to someone because you needed the money they brought into the relationship, but you weren't necessarily happy in the relationship. So I feel like that's going to shift. That energy is going to shift. And you may wind up with someone who is more compatible with you, that has real love to offer and stability. And someone you have fun with, where you don't have that heavy energy. And you have that fun energy coming in. So let's see what the angel cards have to say for Sag. What does Sag need to hear from the angels? Forgiveness. Okay. Holding on to a past hurt is preventing you from moving forward and achieving your heart's desires. Let it go. Forgiveness does not mean that you condone another person's actions. It simply means that you are no longer willing to be a perpetual victim to a particular person or event. Blame is a waste of your precious energy. Bless and surrender the past, for in doing so, you will reclaim the joy of life. So yeah, if you've had a falling out with someone and things, maybe there was infidelity because the Three of Cups is here, that could be a third party, let it go. Look to the future, because I feel like you have new love energy coming in. And if you keep holding on to the past, you're only going to replay that misery. So your burdens are starting to end. Let the new energy come in, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to don't let the new person pay for the sins of the past person. Or even if you're reconciling with someone, you have to learn how to forgive and turn the page, and don't hold on to the past hurt. Kind of try to find a way to let it go so that you could have a new beginning with this person. So let's see what the astrology has to say. So for you, the full moon is in your 11th house of friendship, the groups that you belong to, wishes, dreams. And you have the sun in the 5th with Chiron and Jupiter. So the 5th house is really the house of romance and pleasure and joy. It could be sex, it could be joy, doing things you do for fun, creative self-expression, even children. So for some of you wanting children, that's also good. I feel like the Jupiter brings luck and opportunity. And this moon, but you also have Chiron here. So there are some wounds that you have to heal before you can experience this joy. But the full moon is bringing things to the surface. It's letting you see, okay, so something is completing. You're seeing some truth around friendships, because you have, like, the moon in Libra is about seeing both sides of an issue, trying to understand things from the other person's perspective. So you have to, and also, like the Aries, you have the Aries energy in your 5th house. That's about me, what I want, what I need. And the Libra energy, the moon in Libra, is about what the other person needs. So you may come to some type of resolution where you realize, I have to find balance between what I need and what the other person needs, and we need to compromise and meet halfway. If anything has been hidden, it will come to the surface at this time. And there may be some healing that needs to be done as a result of the information that comes out, because Chiron is here. But there's also Jupiter, which means opportunity. And Jupiter is your ruling planet. But the other thing that Jupiter does, it has a tendency to exaggerate and make things bigger, blows things up. So don't blow things out of proportion. So if you're blowing something out of proportion, it can make things worse. Excuse me. The other thing that's happening at this time is Mercury moving into Taurus in your 6th house. And it's already joining Venus. I mean, Venus is already in the 6th house, but it's conjunct the North Node. So what does that mean? The North Node is the energy that you need to work toward. And that's about, in Taurus, it's about where do I feel secure? And what am I doing to build up my security? What is my work environment? Am I doing the right things at work? Because the 6th house is work. It's also health. And Taurus is about survival. Am I doing everything I can to ensure my survival? Mercury is a planet of communication, ideas, thinking. So maybe I need to speak up about what I need. Maybe I need to think of new ideas or about how to shift things in my work environment. You have Mars in Cancer in your 8th house. So Mars is stirring up, you might, financial, you may be worried about paying off some debts. You may be worried about other people's resources. Like maybe you're depending on someone for money, and now that resource, it might be a problem. Or you might be having to go and get a loan from a bank, or Mars can bring in money through a partner's income, but it could also raise your expenses when it's in the money houses. So it's in the 8th house, but Mars is also, wherever Mars is, that's where your energy is. Now Mars is sextile Saturn. It's trine Saturn, and it's sextile the North Node. And Saturn's in your 4th house. So you really, it's about doing the work. And how can I explain this? Because the 8th house the 8th house has a lot of its meanings. It can be sex, it can be death, it can be taxes, it can be inheritance. It's also our shadow, our fears, what we do to self-sabotage. What are we afraid of when it comes to intimacy? Saturn in your 4th house just moved into Pisces in your 4th house. So you have to maybe confront family issues. Maybe you're having to deal with an authority figure, father figure. Mars in the 8th house, maybe you were dependent on someone's income, and that may be a challenge at this point. Or you have to work harder for the money that's coming in. Or maybe you have to take care of things that you've been avoiding, like maybe debt. You have to start paying off some debt or some loans. Or you might have to talk to someone about financial support. But since Mars is trining Saturn, it's giving you the energy to do the work. It's giving you the courage to look at these things and to solve them. Neptune's been in your 4th house in Pisces. So your home is your sanctuary. But when Saturn moves in there, it's showing you the reality of your home life and your family life. Like, what's real? What do I need to work on? Where do I need to put down roots somewhere? Maybe you really need to buy. Sometimes people buy property or buy a home when Saturn goes through the 4th house because they feel a need to belong somewhere. They feel a need to be stable, because Saturn represents stability. It represents hard work, but it also represents stability and longevity. So if you're purchasing a home at this time, you may be there for a long time. Pluto's in your 3rd house. It just moved into Aquarius. So Pluto is transforming. Wherever Pluto winds up, it represents transformation, breaking down and rebuilding. And in the 3rd house, it could be communication, your communication style. It could be your relationship to relatives, siblings. Where do you need to transform the way you communicate? There could be, maybe there's a relative or someone who helps transform your life in some way, and you have an intense relationship with them. Maybe your communication style needs to change, or you need to watch that you're not coming on too strong. Because Pluto energy, it can be intense, it can be bullying, there could be power struggles with Pluto. But what Pluto wants you to do, it wants you to become empowered. It doesn't want you to be the bully. It wants you to feel secure within, so that your communication comes from a place of confidence. It wants to empower you. And that's what you're going to be doing for the next 20 years, working on your communication style, how to speak up about what you need, how to communicate with the people around you. The 3rd house is your local environment, your friends, your family, your neighbors, your immediate family, even your thinking style. How am I thinking? What do I need to change in my thinking? So a lot of things may come to the surface at this full moon, where you have to learn how to balance your needs with the needs of others. And the 11th house could be friendships. Where do you need to compromise in a friendship situation? Libra, do you need to get more social? Maybe you've been holed up and not, you've been so wrapped up in your problems in your own head that you haven't been socializing. You've been cutting people out of your life instead of joining with the group. So those are all the issues. Venus will sextile Neptune also in around this time. And Venus sextile Neptune, let's see, that's in your 6th house and Neptune in the 4th. That can be a very romantic time, especially if you're into anything creative. If you're doing any kind of creative work, Venus will give you inspiration, and Neptune will be inspiration that just comes. So it's a good time to, especially with Mercury there, writing. If you're into any kind of writing or communicating in some way, poetry, music even, art, any kind of art, this is a good time to explore those things, to be creative, to come up with new ideas. Then we have the solar eclipse, and that's happening in your 5th house of romance. So a solar eclipse is at 29 degrees Aries. This is the second full new moon in Aries. The last month we had one at 0 degrees Aries. That was a new beginning. This is at the 29th degree. This is a culmination. So it's time to end the cycle. If you've been doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, with an eclipse can sometimes eclipse someone out of your life, but it can be an ending and a new beginning at the same time because we have the new moon. The new moon is always a new beginning. And there may be some healing around that, but there's also opportunity. It's an opportunity to have a new start where you're not repeating the past, where you're having a new cycle come in. And you're trying things in a different way this time. You're not going to do the same old, same old. You know, with the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. It's time to do something in a different way. That doesn't mean you have to break up with someone, although in some cases it could mean a breakup. But what it means is you have to stop repeating the past cycle. That past cycle is over. You have to relate to someone in a new way, even if it's the same partner or a new partner. It's it's like new energy. It's an opportunity to release the past and start over. Mercury in your 6th house is going to conjunct Uranus, so there could be some sudden surprises around your work. It could be positive. It doesn't have to be negative. But you never know what's going to happen with Uranus. There could be a sudden message comes in, and it changes everything. It frees you in some way. So this could be something unexpected that's going to affect your work. It could also be your health. If you may hear some good news about a health issue, if you've been worried about a health issue, or you may have to take sudden action. Mercury now. Venus will be in your 7th house by this time. It'll be in Gemini. I think it's more, you're going to connect with, there's going to be romance. When Venus crosses over into your 7th house, there could be the potential for romance. Or your partnerships will become more harmonious. The only problem is that Venus is squaring Saturn in the 4th house. So there's some home and family issue that's interfering with the love energy. Venus represents love and money. When it's in your 7th house, it can bring those things. But squaring Saturn represents limitation, restriction, hurdles to overcome. So I feel that there is something connected to your childhood, to an authority figure from your childhood, that's preventing you from experiencing the loving energy, to be loving, to attract love and money. Maybe you felt as a child you weren't good enough. Or maybe you had a harsh parent that was very critical. Those are the things you have to work on. Work on overcoming any childhood programming that's blocking you from accepting love, from being open to love. And by the same token, being open to money. Because love and money are kind of connected. If you feel that you have value, you're not going to settle to be paid less than what you're worth. You're not going to settle for a relationship that doesn't give you what you deserve. When you have confidence and you say, hey, I'm worth this, you're not going to put up with someone who's not treating you properly. And then you're going to attract the right person, the right energy, because it's going to be a match to your internal energy. So what's really important this month, you have this opportunity. The sun is here. But you have to overcome some fears and some childhood programming to get to that place of security. The North Node in Taurus wants you to feel, I am safe, I am secure. I am loved. And then when you start to feel that internally, then you start to attract that in your external world. This solar eclipse at 29 degrees Aries is releasing the past. It's time to release an old cycle that doesn't work anymore. It's time to stop repeating past behavior or past patterns that just don't work. And it's time to think about approaching love and life in a new way. And things may happen quickly in April with the eclipse. The eclipse energy can be sudden. But it's also, so if it doesn't happen, a lot of times with the eclipse though, it could happen on the day, the time of the eclipse, a month before, a month later, 6 months later even. But I feel for you, around the eclipse is when things are going to start. And then over the summer, things are going to get better because you're going to realize, I think you're waking up to what you need to do and what you need to release. And that's going to cause new energy to flow in. And I think that's going to bring you a lot of joy and happiness. And you're going to say, why did I wait so long? Why did I suffer and struggle when I could have been in this better place much sooner? So that's my forecast. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button, leave a comment, please. I love reading the comments. Let me know what's going on in your life. And if you'd like a private reading, click on the link in the description box. It will take you to my website. We can get you scheduled. This is a general reading. It may not apply to everyone. So a private reading will be focused on just your issue and yours alone. So have a wonderful April. And I will talk to you again next month. Okay, bye now.